Welcome to the 453rd episode of the Jami Dulaney Plant-Based Wellness Podcast. My name is Jami Dulaney, and I'm your host. I'm a plant-based cardiologist and endurance athlete living in Southwest Florida. Happy Thanksgiving, and today I am proudly joined by my favorite plant-based dietitian, registered dietitian, that is, Addie Majnaric. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.
So this is an emergency Thanksgiving podcast. So if you're on the way to Grandma's house right now and you're in a panic mode, we're going to give you a few tips on how to get through the day. If you haven't left yet, we'll give you a few tips on what you could bring with you. And if you're going out to dinner, maybe we'll have you do a quick menu type assessment, what you can look for in a menu that you might get a hold of. So let's just get started. Doesn't have to be a bad thing. I know our first Thanksgiving, the fear was there's no turkey on the table.
And it was our first holiday, plant-based.
Yeah, and what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And that holiday, I believe, we got a field roast. Mm-hmm. And we purchased a field roast company that makes the sausages, made a loaf that we got. There's a company called Tofurkey that they make a loaf too that you can purchase. The problem with those loaves is they tend to be pretty high in sodium and pretty high in fat, but again, not as bad as a turkey. But anyway, we got through that first holiday, and it turns out that there are a lot more side dishes than there are meat dishes. You know, most people have a ham or a turkey. We used to actually have a prime rib way back when. We didn't even have turkey or ham.
Well, and what we did too, and it kind of, I feel like, kick-started everything, was we just literally converted all of our other sides to the plant-based version of them. So we just took out the animal ingredients, made our swaps, made them a little healthier in terms of salt and sugar and oil. But other than that, we had our typical sides.
So let's just go through them a little bit. So mashed potatoes. Somebody might tell you that mashed potatoes are vegetarian. But most mashed potatoes are made with dairy, which I guess would be vegetarian, and butter. But butter comes from milk, which comes from a cow. So mashed potatoes aren't vegetarian. However, you can make them by
easily swapping, omitting the butter, and swapping your milk for your plant-based favorite. However, pro note, make sure you're not using the vanilla version because that will be a little wonky. Other than that, it's very, very easy. You can season them with the same herbs and spices, just as you normally would. So that is probably the simplest swap of them all, or you just use the water. I mean, either way. Some people actually just do that. But yeah, so the mashed potatoes are very, very simple.
And gravy, mushroom gravy. Yep. So right now in my refrigerator, I have a combination of baby Bella, shiitake, and oyster mushrooms, and that's what we're going to just cook down with some pepper and garlic and cook that down, and that'll be our gravy tomorrow. So that's easy. You know, if you're going someplace, you could always take, again, you could take your own mashed potatoes. You could take just mushroom gravies to put on your mashed potatoes.
Both are very quick to make as well, especially if you have an Instant Pot. So, I mean, that's a simple dish to take with you that's not going to require a lot of extra effort.
Green bean casserole, that's something that we really never had, but a lot of places, institution-type places have those, but it tends to be very, very salty canned green beans, those fake onions that are on top that, again, are very fatty and salty, along with a can of cream of mushroom or cream of something soup on top. Yeah. So you can really make good green beans by just doing green beans, garlic, mushrooms, a little red pepper. You're good to go. The mushrooms provide you with, a nice little sauce. You could add a little bit of low sodium tamari, but you really don't even need it. So that's an easy thing to make on the side as well. Much better for you. And again, as a cardiologist, after Thanksgiving, it's used to be one of my busiest time for congestive heart failure because the meals are so salty. By the time you do the turkey, which is soaked in a brine, or the ham, and all the salt on the potatoes, all the salt on, some of these canned vegetables, people went into heart failure, and it was a busy time. The day after Thanksgiving was always not a shopping day for me, but a very busy work day. So
another dish that we didn't really have, but I know a lot of people do have, is mac and cheese. And we were hosting a few people a couple of years ago in Texas, and they had typically had that. So I made our plant-based version. So again, an easy swap. I did our typical cashew and carrot cheese sauce over macaroni. Called it a day. Everyone loved it. So there are some other options for that too.
Yeah, and so that's again a very easy thing to take. And if you're going to be allowed to take a covered dish where you go, try to take one and take
two.
Yeah, and let people see. Showcase just how good our food is. That's the best thing you can do. Sweet potatoes are usually okay unless people put a bunch of not mushrooms, but marshmallows on top. So usually those are going to be a go-to. Cranberry sauce people make, that usually is a go-to. We make our cranberry sauce a little bit different. We boil the cranberries, add some maple syrup to sweeten them up a little bit, and do celery, oranges, and walnuts, and a little bit of nutmeg, a little bit of cinnamon. So that makes a good dish. But yeah, cranberry sauce is usually hard to mess up, even in the non-plant-based world, as far as making it non-vegan. So you're usually good to go there. Stuffing. My mother invented, the diva invented the stuffing ball.
Stuffing ball is my favorite, I think. One of my favorite dishes. Nathan and I usually fight over those.
So again, if you have leftover bread, you can use Ezekiel bread, celery, onion, or leek, and add that all in, and use some vegetable broth or even the mushroom broth, but no sodium added. Make the stuffing balls, and you're good to go. So, funny thing.
As we're telling you all the things to do, we realize all the things.
We're missing lima. We're missing lima beans and a leek for our stuffing balls. Michael's allergic to onion, and we don't have a leek, and we don't have a lima bean. So guess who's going to go emergency Thanksgiving Eve shopping?
Emergency. So hopefully we're helping you make your list as well.
So maybe we'll see you there. I don't know.
It's all right.
It's all right. It'll be all good. And we're going to make a loaf. And we're going to make a loaf with a combination of tofu but there's a variety of different loaves. There's lentil loaves. There's loaves using
Vital wheat gluten
and tofu, and they're all really good. Some of them you can stuff and be creative. I will give you another hint, and I think I've done this on a podcast, years, probably every year I might say it, but I had a vital wheat gluten loaf disaster one year. You need to not overcook that thing.
Or over knead it.
Because
so the more you mash it, the stronger the protein fibers get, which leads to a tire.
Yes, and a tire that you can't even cut with a chainsaw.
Your intestines will be begging for mercy for days.
Yeah, I had a kitchen full of people watching me try to chop through an over-baked vital wheat gluten loaf one year. And despite every knife...
And make it ahead of time. That is one, folks. Even if you know the recipe works, they are better after they have sat, and you will be better if you don't have to do it under pressure. So mental health check, do it the day before.
Yeah, if you remember the Christmas vacation and the turkey disaster on that was kind of my turkey disaster. I also had I might as well say, I had a pumpkin cake disaster. And I think that was when we first went, it was going to be a pumpkin bread.
Yeah, that never cooked.
It was, I did that, and it was one of the first years that we had done pumpkin desserts, and I decided to make a pumpkin bread type of thing, and it became a rock. So, some things you might want to try a little bit in advance.
Pumpkin pie. I have found the easiest pumpkin pie recipe. I found it this year. It is just pumpkin instead of condensed milk. And this is a fun fact, too, because I shared it with my friend who has a little who is transitioning to no dairy because her little who is nursing is allergic to dairy, so they are not doing dairy this year for Thanksgiving. Coconut milk is a great replacement for condensed milk in recipes. So for pumpkin pie, Caleb and I made this a couple weeks ago, all in the blender, pumpkin puree, coconut milk, your sweetener of choice, your spices, a little cornstarch, vanilla. Pop that in your pie crust, bake it, and let that cool and completely chill. That is one I do like to make the day before or morning of, so at least has 4 hours to chill. But foolproof, all in the blender pie.
And we use a graham cracker crust to
Yeah.
get rid of all the extra oil, because your pie crust can be very high in oil. So if you're prone to indigestion, that can do you in after a Thanksgiving meal.
And our lima beans, can't forget those.
Yes, lima beans.
Which we did.
And they need, and my mother, again, the diva, would always say, make sure you get Ford Hook lima beans.
Don't come home with the little ones,
Get
or Thanksgiving would be ruined.
Hook lima beans. And that is the variety of lima beans
Yeah, so they're a little larger.
that she liked. And you have to cook them well, a long time. There's other ways of stating that she was a little bit more colorful on, but you need to cook them adequately so they're soft, because most people hate lima beans because they're not cooked enough.
And they're chalky, but if you cook them long enough, they're like just smooth and creamy. They're great.
And we do thicken those with a little bit of cornstarch, miso paste, and even a little soy milk.
Yeah.
To make those.
And I even like those on top of my mashed potatoes, if we're talking about how we load things.
Yes, I do. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things too, to do that. And then we do regular sweet potatoes just in the oven, or you can do them in the Instapot, and then we kind of twice bake them a little bit with spices on top. So that's really, really easy. So you get to the house, of your friends, and you're carrying your covered dish, and they ask you, but why? Why do you want to ruin Thanksgiving? And what do you say? Or the other thing people say, well, you can't have this, you can't have that. Or they might say, it's vegetarian, go ahead. Or just this once. How is it going to hurt you? Just a little bit. Come on.
Or you may be approaching the situation, and instead of saying, I can't have that, it is easier to say, would like to not have what's in there. I am choosing not to have X, Y, or Z, because then it is not someone doing something to you. It is just a choice. Kindly say you'll pass. I always say too, if it's your first Thanksgiving and you're the only one out there, don't draw a lot of attention to it. Just do what you want to do. If somebody asks you why, it's a nice time to educate, but you don't have to really worry about it. Usually we make it a bigger deal in our head than it's going to actually be.
And, I actually heard a psychologist talking about how you approach things with friends and family. And really, when it comes down to it, if they are truly your friends, they will be understanding. We try to make a scenario in our head about what we think people are going to say, and it's not necessarily that way. And if you approach it by, I don't want to make a lot of trouble. I'm bringing my own dish. I really want to be with you on the holiday. I really want to be here and celebrate Thanksgiving with you. But I am choosing to eat a little differently now. And I would really like it if you could support my choice, because right now I believe it is the healthiest thing that I can do for myself. I am not trying to, make this for other people. I'm just doing it myself, and I want to be with you, but I need to be able to eat this way, and I would feel so good if you could actually support me in that. And if you could have that conversation with people, I think they're going to accept you for what you are.
Especially if you're bringing something. I mean, we were always taught to not come to a house without something anyway, but I never expect anyone to change their recipes for me. I'm just like, don't worry about it. I'll bring what I can. And I think, that helps out too. But something else that I mentioned to some patients this week was, if you're going to be in a situation where you have no control over what's being offered, or maybe you're going out to dinner for Thanksgiving, it is much easier to say pass on X, Y, or Z if you've had a nice Thanksgiving dish for yourself. So pick another day that week. Maybe you don't make them all on the same day. Maybe you spread it out. But make some of your favorite Thanksgiving plant-based dishes the day of, earlier, that you can have earlier in the week or another day later in the week, so that you aren't feel like, man, I got gypped this year. I didn't get to have the good stuff. So make it so it's not much of a, quote unquote sacrifice.
And I got to tell you, if you are the host for Thanksgiving, There is no way in this world they're going to know what's in those mashed potatoes that's different. They're not going to know what's in those lima beans that are different. They're not going to know if somebody else is bringing the turkey and they want to put, make some gravy there at the side and put on your stuffing balls on the side, fine. That works as well. So if you're in charge, it's your house.
Your kitchen, your rules.
Your kitchen, your rules. There's not anybody that's going to know.
And get excited about fooling people.
But yeah, most people don't even know where their kitchen are. I mean, if we're going to have to go to Publix after this podcast, and there are going to be people frantically running around there trying to figure out what to do or to buy things that are already made, and they have no idea what the ingredients are.
Yeah.
So if you're making, and you can say, oh, Johnny always liked my this way, and he's going to be disappointed. Not to worry. We'd like Johnny to be healthy too, but you don't have to say it's for Johnny's health. Just go ahead and make the mac and cheese the way it is.
Don't make it a big deal.
And don't make it a big deal. And if, they'll be fine for it. So, be strong, be brave, stick to your guns when it comes to the side dishes. If somebody else wants to bring a bird or a ham, that's your call.
That's what we've told people in the past. If you want to bring a turkey, by all means, go for it. But I got everything else covered.
Right. And so that's the way to get around those things. But nobody's gonna know that you're making the dishes without milk. Or you're making it without butter per se and stuff like that. So,
and I think too, let's rein it back into what the holiday's really about: being thankful for who are around and what you got. So,
absolutely. So, but that psychologist also said that we tend to white lie a lot. We tend to dance around the truth, and especially sometimes with our family, and we're afraid. We're afraid we're going to hurt somebody's feelings. We're so afraid we're going to hurt somebody's feelings sometimes, or you say it, or it comes out in a way you wish you wouldn't have said it. So we don't say things, and then when we get to the holidays, and then everybody just lets it rip, and then that's when all the problems start. So again, being grateful for the time together is really important, and sharing traditions that with you and your family and for generations to come. That's what's important. So yeah, I think it'll be great. If you're going out to dinner, you're at the mercy of what happens back in the kitchen. So you're not going to have. You're not going to be able to say, I don't use oil, I don't use salt, I don't do this. That you don't even try it on Thanksgiving. That kitchen is going to be in such a state back for Thanksgiving and people going out there. Don't even try to ask for something special. Look at the menu, see what you can do. And again, it may come down to some choices that are not traditional for you. You're not going to be able, but
do your best.
Do your best, so you can have salads, you can have a potato, look and see the mushroom.
Again for another day that you can make.
Yeah, and work around it. And pumpkin pie, there's not going to be a plant-based pumpkin pie out there, so don't fool yourself into saying if I can't see it, it's not in there. It is, and you know what? If you can do it one time, you can do this, and you can stick to your guns. You will be so confident for the rest of the holiday season. The problem is that if you fold right now. This could be the slippery slope that puts 20 pounds on you and a couple extra points on your hemoglobin A1C, and you're back on the purple pill for your indigestion for the rest of the year.
Or you're in the hospital for Christmas.
For heart failure,
yes. Heart failure, yeah. So, do that as you may. But I also think, too, I encourage you, go to the function. I have so many people who are like, oh, we're just not going to go this year. It's too hard. No. Thanksgiving, the holidays, while food is a tradition part, the food can be changed to honor tradition, but you just don't want to miss out on that time. And there's no reason for it. You're aiming to be healthy so that you can enjoy life. So go enjoy it. Don't be stressed out by the food and the awkward conversation around it that's literally going to last for a second. Go and enjoy yourself and focus on what matters most.
Indeed.
There's your pep talk.
There's
High
your
five.
High five. You got this. You've got this. And we've got to get lima beans and a leek so far. But the good thing is that's the only thing I think we need so far. So that's pretty good.
Let's hope.
Let's hope. Let's see. We'll see. So, and you know what? We're probably going to get an extra 10,000 steps because we won't be able to find a place to park. So that's,
luckily, Caleb loves to push the cart.
yeah. So we're gonna have a great time shopping on Thanksgiving.
We can pull the pregnant lady card.
There we go. We'll have fun. We want the extra steps, but we do want to tell you about something very exciting that we're going to offer.
Yes,
new
to us.
We have been accumulating content for several years now. Recipes, wellness challenges, workout type things, nutrition classes, cooking demos, how-tos,
dietary lectures,
nutrition lectures, science lectures. We've been collecting those and putting them up on our members-only website. And so this year we decided to open that up to anyone that would like to participate. So
part of our membership is a couple different parts, I should say, to our membership. You can be a full member that's local to our practice, and then we currently have 2 online memberships. Level 1, which is online content access as well as monthly dietary consultations with myself. Level 2, online content access and monthly consultations with Dr. Dulaney and myself. But now we'll be bumping those up to level 2 and 3 and adding a new level 1, which will simply be, and simply putting it lightly, online content access with anyone who chooses to choose that monthly membership. So you select it, you keep it going for as long as you want, but you get access to our weekly live Zoom classes, which go from anything from Dr. Dulaney lectures. I give a lecture once a month. We do a cooking class once a month. We do every Monday almost mobility and movement classes in the office that Dr. Dulaney hosts. We also do monthly newsletters that contain a wellness challenge from myself surrounding exercise of either cardiovascular or strength and conditioning fitness. Online access to our private Facebook group, which we've created as a way to have a plant-based community online, since we do have members all over the country. And it's just a nice spot for everyone to share, good things they find or ask questions on there. These Zoom calls or Zoom lectures we always offer a live Q&A after, but we also realize that you may not be able to get in at the time. So we record all of them. So they will also be posted to the membership content page. So you'll be getting all of these things in addition to some workouts with us.
And recipes.
We have over 15 recipes currently on there right now.
But every month you send out 2 more?
Yeah, every month we get out additional recipes. So you get that for, ding, 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 $25 a month. We'll be adding this to our website within the upcoming weeks. And it is in perfect time for a Christmas gift. Or if you are looking to kickstart your 2024 a little bit healthier, this is going to be a great opportunity. Maybe you're not ready to jump into consultation calls with us, but you'd like the online content access where you can also join in on the Q&As. This would be a perfect thing for you, for someone you know who is looking to get a little healthier next year, have that support, have that community, and we will be letting you know ASAP as soon as we get that on the website.
Yeah, so I think it'll be really exciting. You'll get to see what goes on, and if you want to hear more from us, then you can increase your membership, but this is a really good way to get in for it. And then, since a lot of people are doing gifts for other people, $25 and under, when you're at Thanksgiving this week and you're with your family, you might just look around the room and say, you know what? If somebody expressed some interest in what you're doing and they're impressed with how things are going for you, maybe this would be a good way to help them jumpstart. And then just think next year it might be you and somebody else at the dinner table that is plant-based. So great way to get started. We're really excited about sharing this. I also didn't mention early up front that I've exceeded 1 million downloads for the podcast. So it's been going strong for several years. The podcast goes up at least every 10 days, if not every 7 days. And I truly appreciate everybody that has downloaded a podcast. Thank you in advance if you share the podcast with others. I've expanded it to have a little bit more movement and running in it, because I think that getting outside and moving or walking or hiking is really important. So I hope you're enjoying the content. Thank you for downloading and giving us a shot. I hope this podcast helps you get through Thanksgiving and the upcoming holidays, a little bit easier and keeps you healthy.
Yes, and we wish you and yours a happy and healthy Thanksgiving and holiday season ahead.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Now let's go get the lineup.
Yep.